Well, tonight we lift the lid on the delay in the reconstituting of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. The last time we had a commission was shortly after the 2022 general election. The remaining commissioners who had stood by the presidential election outcome finished their term and left. The other four, the ones who are known as the Cherera Four, who would have been commissioners, also exited unceremoniously. Now, 11 by-elections are currently pending across the country. The elevation of Opiyo Wandayi to the cabinet brought to 3 the number of constituencies without representation. Together with Ugunja on that list are Banisa constituency, whose representative died in a road accident, and Magarini, whose member of parliament lost the seat through a petition that went all the way to the Supreme Court. 8 wards have no representatives due to one reason or the other. Now, it's not bad enough that they lack representation. It's worse that we have barely made any attempt at having the commissioners in the electoral body. Now, that stalemate at the IEBC is not a new phenomenon. It always happens. Parties always register disputes. Its composition is more often than not very contested and, of course, very emotive. It's an emotive issue, I must add. In fact, the parties to the election never agree on a single issue, even the outcome. However, we somehow as a country always compromise, and we have commissioners in office. So this is one of the longest time the country has taken without substantive election commissioners in the office. The president is being blamed for the stalemate, but strictly speaking, constitutionally, he has no sway, especially after the principal IEBC Act was amended to allow players nominate individuals in the commission through the political party's liaison committee. So tonight, we dissect that delay to find out what really is behind this stalemate. Why can't we have the election panel in place? Who is delaying this process and why? And how is he or she doing it? Now, to understand this, we must go back to the beginning. So where is the problem, we ask tonight? The amendment of the IEBC Act, the Principal Act, allowing different players to have a say in the selection panels, is where we begin tonight. This amendment put together what is known as a political parties liaison committee. It was allocated 3 slots. Interreligious Council had 2 slots. Parliamentary Service Commission also had 2 slots, while the Law Society of Kenya and ISPAC had 1 slot each. Total 9. Now, the Office of the Register of Political Parties convened a National Steering Committee plenary meeting of the Political Parties Liaison Committee on the 22nd of July this year to discuss the nomination process of its 3 nominees to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission selection panel. This was a heated meeting, I must add, but finally they agreed. Azimio, as the minority coalition party in the National Assembly or in Parliament, nominated 2 members. So was the Kenya Kwanza as the majority coalition party. The last slot was to go to non-parliamentary minority party or coalition of parties, and they had 4 nominees who went through a competitive election to pick 1 for the panel. Now, Kenya Kwanza also elected 1. However, this is where the rubber meets the road, because Azimio, which has 23 affiliate parties, after losing 3 to Kenya Kwanza, also went through an election after they were directed by the Register of Political Parties not just to handpick a representative to the panel, but rather agree or go through a competitive election. Now, Kalonzo Musyoka, the Wiper leader, had picked Koki Muli, ambassador, I must say, long before this election in Machakos. He felt this seat was reserved for the Wiper party because ODM had taken every plum place in Parliament and in the Azimio election or coalition. Now, Augustus Muli of the National Liberal Party won the contest with 16 votes against Koki Muli, who had 7 votes. Now, Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka had, however, convinced the other affiliate parties, including the Jubilee Party and NA Kenya, to drop their candidates in favor of one candidate who was Koki Muli. It's only the National Liberal Party's candidate who faced Koki Muli in this election in Machakos. After the list of the outcome went to Parliament, it was rejected by Parliament for want of gender consideration. Yet, it was not a competitive process which could possibly yield or ensure gender compliance. It was an election. With this rejection, Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka went to the High Court, which agreed with him. One of the reasons that was that the National Liberal Party was wrongly was given by the court that was that the Liberal Party was wrongly clustered with parliamentary political parties, yet it's a non-parliamentary political party. This simply means it has no representative in parliament. Now, the crisis deepens because the court, however, found that the process was very competitive, the election process, and that Augustine Muli of the National Liberal Party was validly elected to the selection panel, and that there was no way in an election to ensure gender balance in a competitive election. Now, the Liberal Party was then told it will be compensated for the loss, and that they should allow Koki Muli to the panel, the IEBC selection panel, to balance gender, even though it was not possible to ensure gender compliance in such a process. Now, Liberal Party declined and went to the Court of Appeal, which is yet to empanel to listen to this appeal. All this because Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka wants his candidate to be a member of the selection panel. She lost the election where there was no requirement of gender balance, what they used in the National Assembly. He failed to convince the National Liberal Party to drop out of that contest. Because of this one candidate, Ambassador Koki Muli, the whole country is compromised. Now you know, and this is a good place to begin tonight with the highlights.